Crazy, right?
Welcome everyone to the Hurting Humanity channel. What you saw there is just a small glimpse of the technology they have at their fingertips that they can go forward with Project Bluebeam, because that was something that was projected in New York City for, of course, what would be connected to that? Why would they be doing that? Well, they have to push some satanic musician who has an album about aliens and man mating with aliens, which I'll get into more detail about in this video in a minute. But those are the types of things that we see out in front of us. This type of technology being used in the sky at the same time that we see all these mysterious events occurring in the sky, like two moons, like everybody being able to see the northern lights. They are getting ready to deceive majorly in the United States of America. Specifically, they are setting people up and preparing them for this. And I'll show you more of the footage of this UFO that was flying in New York City and how people were responding to it in a second. But this is all tied back to Lil Uzi Vert. That's the musician's name. Does that sound like something? Say it 3 times fast. Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Uzi Vert, Little Lucifer, right? That's what his name is derived from, Lucifer. As are all of these musicians. They are Satanists. And his new music video and his new album was just released. And of course, the thumbnail for it, you could see him crossing his hands over his chest, which I'll get into in more detail in a few minutes. But of course, you could see him in bed with what is perceived as aliens, what we would look at as aliens, which of course, if you understand how this all works, this is really demons. As Aleister Crowley once said, today we call them angels and demons, tomorrow they will call them something else, and that is alien. And the depiction of what we look at as an alien actually comes from Aleister Crowley's LAM, the entity that Aleister Crowley channeled and summoned. That is what we see as the depiction of what an alien is, and that's done by design. That's conditioning you for what they have planned. And they've been conditioning you for this for a while, but most recently, we even saw at the MTV Video Music Awards, which I covered, which of course has been wiped off the internet, except of course it's available on my website, was them showing you this theme of aliens hooking up with humans, right? And this goes back, this is biblical. This is the fallen ones. This is the Watchers. This is the Nephilim that they're showing us. Man mating with demons. And for anybody out there that's not familiar with Lil Uzi Vert, Lucifer, we've seen him out in public before wearing an upside down cross on his neck. He's always holding up the devil horns over his forehead, holding up devil horns, sticking out his tongue, of course, doing the serpent's tongue. And we've seen him doing what else as he socially engineers, dressing up as a woman. These are all common themes that we see in the music industry and in Hollywood because they're grooming the behavior of the minds of the youth. That's what their job is. That's how our society becomes what it becomes. That's how it becomes more perverted, more people dressing in the opposite gender's clothing. It's because of the social influencers. It's because of the people that the government props up to influence the behavior of the children out there. We're told that they're cool, they're rapping about nonsense, they're singing music about nonsense, they're doing all these things. And of course, they're being praised. They're being idol worshiped by the young people out there. Their parents stick them in front of a TV. The kids start worshiping these people. They refuse to believe that it's idol worship. And then all of a sudden, your son's dressing as a woman. It all goes back to these musicians and these Hollywood celebrities. That's their job as government assets. That's why they're rewarded with fame and fortune to do these things. That's why they all do the same things. That's why you see all of these celebrities where they have their children dressing up as the opposite gender. Will Smith, Pink. It's a common theme, right? So back to the video here. This album and video is paying homage to Heaven's Gate and to this alien deception that's coming, right? There's nothing original about it because every single musician out there has something in regards to aliens, mating with aliens. Katy Perry just did it. We've seen Ariana Grande do it. It's a very common theme, but this is the Project Bluebeam conditioning that we're seeing around you. Here's some of the video clips that were put out on the internet, people took on their phones, of them literally being allowed to do this up in the sky and showing you how people were responding to it, of course.
Crazy, right? is that? Russian! Yo, what's going on?
So just imagine how much even more realistic they could make this look, because they can make it look more realistic. And one of the things that you saw was actually a human being projected in the sky, as if to say that they were abducted. And this, of course, makes everybody out there who's paying attention to what's going on think about rapture programming and potential fake rapture events that the government may pull. And don't forget about the thing I've been covering a lot the last year or so, is the Vatican publishing those new norms to discern alleged supernatural phenomena, because that's very important, because the Vatican's going to be the spiritual religious authority on any type of supernatural event. So if they simulate something in the sky, all they need to do is have the Pope come out and tell us that it was apparition or something from God himself. It was Jesus in the sky. It was a sign from God. And the people out there will believe it. Don't forget when we have this herding mechanism going on right now, which I'll get into more detail later in the video with Donald Trump, who's recently talking about UFOs and the UFO deception as well. They keep the Republicans and the Democrats, they keep them on board with certain things, right? Both sides believe that aliens could be real, right? Both sides believe that they'll have no repercussions or they're not concerned about where technology and AI is headed, right? And this is one of the things that they're going to keep them on board with. There's going to be major alien deception. It's going to tie into a lot of spiritual deceptions that are going on. So you go back to the music video. I just want to show you the theme here with, again, Lil Uzi Vert, as well as the Project Bluebeam theme that we see out in the open, is the video and the theme of man mating with demons, right? Transformation that's going on and is going to come. So you see him in bed, right? He's got his arms crossed. He's doing the devil horns. This is in homage of Osiris, the Egyptian god. And we've seen this before, where even Freemasons out in the open, they cross their arms over their chest. If you haven't noticed the repetition in the pattern, a lot of these celebrities are always doing this pose. Nobody pays attention to it. It's not as obvious, of course, as the hand over the eye one is, but you'll see here the pattern. We've seen Stephen King do it. We've seen Robin Williams. We've seen all these celebrities. Jerry Seinfeld. You don't think much of it, right? Chris Brown, Simon Cowell. I mean, you could see all the celebrities flashing before your face here who do this imagery in front of you. Taylor Swift most recently, Miley Virus, Michael Jackson. Okay, there's obviously a theme here with the X. And the X symbol, which I've covered in detail on the website, is a symbol for the coming Antichrist. So he's doing this deliberately while he's in bed with a bunch of what we would perceive as aliens, but really these are demons, right? And they even show you this because as the video goes on, we see people demonically possessed. We see their eyes turn into what we would look at, right, as demon possession, demonic possession. So you can see that there's a connection here between aliens, the UFO deception, and actual demons. And again, they're one and the same. And the other thing that we've heard over and over recently is a lot of talk about crypto terrestrials. We've heard a lot of things about reptilians. We even heard Nancy Pelosi recently reference herself or itself as being a reptilian.
They didn't know what they were talking about. We know we're different from the presidential. We're very discreet, reptilian, cold-blooded. These are the races we have to win.
Of course she was going to say that, but...
Poor baby.
Yeah, she's really, really committed to that. It's really sad.
No, I'm not a poor baby. I'm more reptilian, cold-blooded, and go in to win the election.
We're going to take a short break. I want to talk to you more about President Biden and some other things.
Thank you. We're different from the presidential. We're very discreet, reptilian. No, I'm not a poor baby. I'm more reptilian.
Harvard social scientists lay out the case for the existence of crypto-terrestrials such as lizard people. We've even seen the theme of movies like The Watchers that have come out and have talked openly about what is in the book of Enoch in regards to the fallen ones. For those of you that don't know, the Watchers, 200 angels that were cast down, who were supposed to be watchers, who ended up mating and interbreeding with humans, which created the Nephilim. The Nephilim mentioned in the book of Genesis. In chapter 6, verse 4, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. The same were the mighty men that were of old, the men of renown. And that's what this has to do with technology and the mixing of iron and clay, man and machine, but also having an understanding about this technology actually being demonic. Nobody ever thinks about what is this technology that we're using? How does it even work? How are we able to pick up a phone and talk to somebody who's in another country on a phone? Nobody thinks about that and how they harvest energy. And those are things I'm going to go into more detail about in the future in separate videos because I don't want to get off track here. But this theme, again, of man mating with demons. They keep showing you this and telling you it's, the accepting of aliens. Nobody understands what they're seeing in front of them. And that movie, The Watchers, I exposed it earlier in the summer, and I'm going to actually put the video back up over on my Nations Conspire channel. So if you're not subscribed to it yet, I will have it linked below. You could click and subscribe now. That way you can check out this video on the movie The Watchers, and it goes into more detail about the fallen ones. But I'll play this quick scene from The Watchers for anybody out there that wants to see what it's about.
A detailed account of the time before the war.
Life with the fairies was a golden era in the age of man. They lived among us as guardians, friends, even mates. Those half-blooded children, born of both man and fairy, changed everything. They were particularly skilled in the art of transformation, even replicating those that had passed on. What became of the halflings? History has deemed their bloodline extinct. It is yet to be proven. With their power, think of what we could create, who we could bring back.
We were like gods once. It is because of humans that we were smothered under dirt for centuries, choking.
So again, a lot of these movies have these themes, right? Where there's these entities that are out watching the people. And we're seeing it more and more now. We're seeing more and more of these movies come out now that are even referencing the book of Enoch. That movie is referencing the book of Enoch. It's referencing the fallen ones. It's referencing the Nephilim, and it's taking out the words and putting in words like fairies to replace the fallen ones. And of course, all this technology and all these things that we have now, these people that came up with these things were given this knowledge. They didn't come up with this knowledge of how they could create cell phones and make these things work through towers. This was all given to them. This is a spiritual war that's going on. It's very important that people understand. So the video on The Watchers is going to be available over on my Nations Conspire channel. So back to Lil Uzi Vert, Lucifer, right? And how there's this big UFO deception that's coming. The headlines are that Heaven's Gate and Lil Uzi Vert is what inspired him with his Eternal Atake and his video, and that was the inspiration, right? So those of you that don't know about Heaven's Gate, this is another CIA operation for anybody out there that doesn't know. They were experimenting with things like Heaven's Gate and Jonestown. And Jonestown is one of the things that really, I went into deep dives with about in the past that have been removed. Of course, they don't want you to think that things like drinking the Kool-Aid, they don't want you to think that these were government experiments to see how many people they could brainwash into taking part in these experiments. These were brainwashing, mind control experiments. Jim Jones was a government agent. He was directly connected as an asset of the CIA. And when the experiment ended, they ended everybody who was a part of the experiment. They didn't drink the Kool-Aid. They were inoculated. Jim Jones himself was offed. The experiment got canceled. That's how the whole thing worked. And Heaven's Gate is a very similar story. So if you don't know the story of Heaven's Gate, it was an American new religious movement known primarily for the mass offing of themselves, because the entire group offed themselves by drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak, back in 1997. Commonly designated a cult, it was found in 1974 and led by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, known within the movement as Do and T. And I'm only reading you about what this was in regards to because there's a tie-in, of course, with the Bible, right? They believed that they were the two witnesses of Revelation, so they attracted a large following of people. They described the theology of Heaven's Gate as a mixture of Christian ufology and New Age, and it's been characterized as a UFO religion. So there's a tie between, right, when we see this now, we know that Christianity has moved, the public Christianity, the way that's perceived, it's moved towards a New Age theology, right? Christianity that we see out in the open is not just, people reading the Bible, which is really what it should be. just reading the Bible, interpreting the Bible word for word, taking it literally. We've seen how Christianity has been infiltrated by this New Age movement. And the UFO deception is going to be a part of that. So he's paying homage to that, which is deliberately done, but it's for psychological reasons that most people out there don't really understand, and how Christians are going to be deceived with Project Bluebeam and the New Age movement, because most Christians out there obviously identify as what? They're Republicans, right? We've seen the heavy pressure that the church is putting on Christians to go and vote, telling them that God is it's their obligation to God and to Jesus Christ to go vote. They're under complete hypnosis. They don't even know what they're saying at this point. And what do we see linked with Christianity and Donald Trump? We see Elon Musk as well, right? Elon Musk recently tweeting out about Donald Trump winning makes a big difference in humanity getting to Mars and making life multiplanetary. These are some of the big coming deceptions. You don't hear the Q movement, the Christian, MAGA movement talking about Project Bluebeam, UFO deceptions. They actually believe that it's a government conspiracy. And this is one of those things I talk about, that the government's fed people. The government pretends they're like, oh my gosh, what's going on in Area 51? Oh, they don't want you to see it. They don't want you to see it, which makes people think more. So they're hiding something. They're hiding something. This is basic mind control, right? But what they're actually hiding has nothing to do with aliens flying around in UFOs from outer space and from other planets. It has to do with the spiritual realm. It has to do with actual demonic entities. These things, you want to call them lizard people, you want to call them reptilian. That's what they're getting people prepared for. It's actually spiritual. And Christians wouldn't even know it when it goes down. I mean, Trump has come out and done what? He's got his Space Force operation, right? Which is just as cringy as it gets. Recently, was on Joe Rogan, and they were talking about JFK and UFO, and they deliberately try to do these things and lump them together, right? Because they're two totally separate types of quote-unquote conspiracies. The JFK file, something they haven't released, they've been baiting people with for century after century after century. You would think that the American people would hold the government responsible and try to figure out what actually happened, whatever your belief is, whether he's alive, whether it was the CIA. A lot of people have their own opinions on it. But lumping in the UFO with a presidential assassination makes people think there's a lot of truth to the UFO deception, but they don't realize the deception with the UFOs is the story of the UFOs, what's behind the UFOs. The government themselves have flying saucers. They have these space, what we're told are things from outer space. They're the ones who fly these things up into the air, DARPA, etc. These are government aircraft that they call unidentified aircraft. They deliberately do it because they're preparing people for a mass deception. And here's even Trump playing to his audience out there, making sure that they're on board with the coming alien deception.
There's a lot of interest in the people coming from space, you know.
Yes. How much did they tell you about that?
A lot. But I interviewed a few people. I interviewed jet pilots that say they saw something. But I interviewed jet pilots that were solid people. And they said, we saw things, sir, that were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. It was something. And it was going 4 times faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane. And it was round. They said, sir, there's something there. You know,
there's something there.
Said it, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to quite a few of them.
They're not conspiracy guys.
So again, he's validating this, right? Oh, Trump, he's going to expose the deep state. He's going to give us all these truths. He's a Christian. He's one of us. And one of the big deceptions is Project Bluebeam. And again, if you don't know about Project Bluebeam, my videos on that are over on the website. I'm sure there'll be more over here on YouTube talking about how they're going to simulate this in the sky to deceive people, possible simulations of raptures, possible Messiah simulations in the sky, UFO simulations. There's a big deception that's coming, and Trump might play a part in it. We don't know how this is going to play out yet. We just know that we're watching a large amount of Christians who are under mass hypnosis, who will listen to every word that this guy says, right? Who are not, who think that they're awake and who aren't, which makes it even more dangerous for them. Because if you think about what we've been dealing with here with Democrats believing everything the government tells, and then you have this other side that thinks that they're awake because they know that the government lies, but then they pick the things they want to believe and don't want to believe, right? They call the news fake, yet they let the news themselves tell them the outcomes of the elections or tell them when these events happen at schools, and they take those as if they're real, actual events. They pick and choose what they want to believe, thinking that they're awake. They have no idea about some of these things that the alt-right media, et cetera, they gatekeep the alien deception. because they bring attention to it as if it's something the government doesn't want you to know about because it's real, So they keep building this up in their mind as if it's real. And there's truth to it because demons are real. Like I said, Aleister Crowley. Today they call them angels and demons. Tomorrow they will call them something else, and that is aliens. So it's all about perception, right? When the government fakes, these alien, deceptions and these simulations in the sky, and tells people that there's aliens, and then baits them into say, oh gosh, the government knew about this. They never told the people. It'll make the people believe it even more that it's real. But the part of it that they're not going to grasp is the demonic entities, the spiritual aspect of all of it, I should say. So we see all this stuff going on around us, right? We see all these musicians constantly referencing aliens and UFOs, showing aliens making out with people, aliens mating with people, little Uzis in bed with these demons, right? Everybody becomes demonically possessed. He's flying UFOs over New York City. And you watch how people respond. Imagine how they're going to respond when they actually unleash Project Bluebeam. Because the technology that they have is so much further advanced than anything they reveal to us that it'll be pretty easy to dupe people. Probably even people like us will be like, wow, I mean, that's really realistic. I mean, we always have to stand on guard. I see people comment all the time like, thanks for reminding me of this stuff. Because if you stop paying, if you just take your guard down for a second, you can get sucked right back into the matrix. You really can. It's very easy to. You get frustrated with the truth. You say, nobody's listening to me. You say, I don't want to listen to, hurting humanity anymore. It's too deep. It's too dark. It's too depressing. You turn the TV on, you start listening to the news again, all that stuff. You get sucked right back in. It's as easy as that. So this deception is going to work on people. We see Christians and how easily deceived they are by Donald Trump. Just imagine when they unleash Project Bluebeam, how badly they're going to fall for it. So no surprise here. I mean, you got to love the fact that he's crossing his arms, paying homage, Antichrist, right? Making the X symbol, the Osiris symbol across his chest with the devil horns. I mean, the things that they're doing, ladies and gentlemen, we've never seen anything like it before. I mean, and it's just going to get worse. I can't imagine what this place is going to look like in 5 years from now if we're still actually here. I thank everybody for being here. Again, I had mentioned about that Watchers video. It's going to go up on my Nations Conspire channel. So if you haven't subbed yet, I'm also going to be uploading new content over there. Make sure you subscribe now. This channel probably won't make it to December. I'd be shocked if it does. I do still have the Rebel Call channel. That channel has recently gotten hit, so that channel is getting put on hold for the time being before they can actually nuke it. If I don't upload over there for a while, they might leave it be. I'm not looking to get it nuked, and I'll probably be building out more channels here on out. But make sure you're subbed to Nations Conspire. That Watchers video will be up over there. It's a very interesting video. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend you watch it. If you did see it, it's definitely worth a watch again. I thank you all for being here. God bless you and your families as always.